Welcome to Music Central, the show where we bring you amazing talent, smart talk about breaking into the music business, and everything entertainment. We've got industry experts here to share their thoughts and career advice, plus all kinds of other fun stuff each week. Today on the show, we have amazing guitarist and executive from Pulse Magazine, Chris Reddy, media and entertainment marketing guru, Keith Boisvert, and YouTube singer, Brittany Tara. And now let's welcome the host of Music Central, Sunny Lake. Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Well, we got a great show for you today. I want to welcome you to Music Central. This is our second show, and we got some exciting guests. A great lineup actually today.
Yes.
I think it'll be very insightful for folks to get to hear from some of these regional musicians and music business execs. So Julianna, you've been busy. Tell me a little bit about what you've been up to.
Well, we are gearing up for production again with Songwriter, and I'm looking forward to that. And we've shot a few, takes the past couple months, and that was a lot of fun. And I've just been working on Hidden Worlds. We have an episode coming out. The first episode will be coming out in the next month.
That's exciting. I know I saw some stuff for those of you who get on and get online and check out the social stuff. There's been a little social buzz, I think, around New England and around the country for people who like stuff like Hidden Worlds. Hidden Worlds is kind of a unique show because it's very well produced, all HD footage and
the
very
cinematography is amazing.
Yeah, and it's being shot in some pretty cool environments and
even just the writing itself.
Yeah.
Even when I'm reading it, I'm still amazed.
Yeah,
I love the fact that I get to read this.
Yeah, I think it's very cool stuff. And back on Songwriter, and now I obviously know a lot about Songwriter. I haven't been the producer on that, but it's a pretty cool show. And what do you think that will do for local musicians? Because as a host, I see you out, and we did some shooting in at Berkeley, and we're able to meet with some great young songwriters and some older songwriters as well. But what do you think this might do for the music community?
Well, I think it gives them inspiration and allows people to know that they have a chance. See, a lot of shows these days are based on just either singing or just either, not even necessarily songwriting, but to put the two together is quite fascinating. And I think it really allows people to be able to explore their true talents. And there's so many talented people in this area that I don't think really get the chance to shine.
Yeah. I think it's kind of neat just because Berkeley's my alma mater, and to be able to go back in there and work with a lot of the folks from there, and I know their outreach internationally now it's so different than it was back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, there's just a big focus on getting out and becoming more of an international, global presence, and trying to help young people and people that are trying to get into the music business to do that. So.
Well, when I was in the band Black River Sound, the majority of the members in my band were from Berkeley or had been to Berkeley.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the Harvard of business of music schools, and they definitely need their time to shine. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's see. We've got a lot of things to get to, so why don't we get to our first guest? And our first guest is Chris Reddy, originally from Leominster area. So most of you would probably know Chris from way back. Great studio musician, great solo act, and an exec for Pulse Magazine as well, on top of a lot of other things. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Reddy.
Hi,
how are you?
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Sunny. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi, folks.
So you've been busy, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
It's been a busy week.
I hear our crew went out to scope you out last night at the Boulder Tavern in Fitchburg.
Yes, it was a long night last night, but it was fun. And I appreciate the guys coming down and doing some video. Captured some good moments of the early part of the evening last night.
Yeah, you started an early set last night, right?
Yeah, usually at the Boulder, it's an after-work crowd, and we do an early start, and it lends itself to be a longer night, but you space out the sets, and it ends up being a fun night, usually every time I'm down there, so it's good.
It's great.
What time do you play till?
Last night I played till about 12:30, 1:45.
Wow.
So starting about 7:30, it makes for a long night, but they're spaced out, 3 long sets or 4 shorter sets.
Yeah.
But
I noticed it must have been a long night, huh? Because usually, for those of you who don't know Chris well, he actually is very clean-shaven and bald, and I know you must have grown overnight.
Yeah. This is musicians should find this appreciative that this is the typical look the next morning.
Where's your coffee?
Drinking water today.
Okay, very good.
Hydration.
So, well, anyway, we might as well start out with, I have Chris's new CD here, and it's two sides to every story. And great CD. I personally have this in my car.
Do I get one?
Of course you do.
Yes, I will give you one.
It's in my stereo. It hasn't come
out.
But great new album. And so how's that going?
It came out early last year. I recorded all of it in my studio in my home, which I typically do. That's the 5th CD I put out. It's a little all over the map, but I wanted to mix the instrumentals with some of the new original material, and there's some remastered older tunes from Sonification. So it's a good long CD, and there's a live clip from Bull Run as the last song. So it's a pretty good indicator of the multiple type of genre music.
And you have done a lot. For those of you who have seen Chris around town, around the state, he's one of the busiest acts I know of, doing a solo act around with classic loops from hell. He's got, was the guitarist for Transit for like 25 years, and now also doubles. He's working sometimes two gigs on a night, working with Dr. Robert, which is just one of the better
very
cover
fun
bands
gig
out there. You guys cover like note for note stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's like listening to classic rock if you close your eyes in some of the tunes, with the strength of John Dochimo and Doug O'Malley and Ron on drums. I mean, Ron Womet. I was approached about 2.5 years ago when Jim Perry left the band to basically come in and fill in for Jim when he went to Florida, and I've been playing with them since. And it does mix it up, so it lends me to being able to play electric again with bands, and it's fun. I've been doing so much acoustic stuff. It's nice to be playing electric again. So.
Now, on top of that, you've got the Police Tribute Band, which
we do the Police Tribute Band a couple times a year with Scott Babineau, Brian Chafee, and Roger Stebbins. You know, and Roger and I have done stuff with Sonic Sway, which is a fusion band with Glenn DiTomaso. So there's always some sort of project that's going on that keeps it all interesting.
That's a hard band to cover, too. I mean, musicians know.
It was fun when we did the gig a few months back at Gardner Ale House. It's always a good time. And it's a chore to go back and relearn all the stuff.
Right.
But it's fun, you know.
And you're the executive of Pulse Magazine.
Well, I'm basically doing part-time. I've worked part-time for Pulse Magazine for about 8 years now. I started with them when I left the high-tech industry, and I was playing while I was doing high-tech. Pulse just kind of lent itself to, when I moved back to Worcester, being something I could do on the side and kind of help promote the music within the magazine.
So Chris, we happen to have our crew went down last night to the Boulder, and we picked up some footage of your live show, and I want people to see this, and then I want to come back and talk to you just a little bit about how in the world you do what you do. Okay?
Okay.
So here, let's roll that clip. Tell us how in the world you do this stuff. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, when I basically started out playing acoustic again, I saw somebody using a Boss phrase sampler, and this is probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited about the fact that you could now lay down tracks live and play over them. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a track, and then I can retrack that as many times as the machine allows.
But all in real time?
All in real time. Nothing's pre-recorded. It's all being done in sync with another effect pedal, which gives me my ambience with the chorusing and the delays. And they're all being matched to create a basic bed of music that now I can sing over or lead over. And it really does lend itself. There's a lot more guys that are starting to use the technology. I think it lends itself to being real fresh. And as you know, because you've come to many shows, it can be different every night. You know, it can create different lead work. You can create different tones.
It could be really different if you made a mistake in the middle of it.
It can be really.
I haven't seen you do that though.
It's happened before.
You have to be quite the perfectionist.
You really do. You have to keep your cadence, and your timing has to be really down. A lot of guys try to use them, and they call me and they say, you know, I gave up on it. It just wasn't working for me. And I basically tell them, well, you need to sit with it and rehearse with it. And
how long did it take you to get comfortable?
I spent about 4 months before I went out and did a gig, just going over loops all the time. And the biggest transition was getting that cadence down. If you put a loop down and you've got the cadence going and you speed it up after you shut it off to bring it back in, your timing is off. It sounds like a skip record. So you can't just buy the effect and go out and play with it.
Wow.
You know? But once you get it down, it's pretty fun.
Well, I want everybody to check out all of your contact info and be able to reach out to you and ask questions and stuff, because I know anybody who watches a clip of you doing what you do will certainly have a lot of questions as to you know, how you do it and advice and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about some gigs that are coming up and what's going on?
Yeah, I basically maintain a full-time website. It's, you know, www.chrisreddy.com. I also work through Vero Concepts. They help with my promotion. Keith's done a fantastic job. They're getting my stuff online. So, you know, the CDs can be bought through that or through CD Baby, or, you know, you can buy the tunes themselves through the linkage that we have with Vero Concepts, right from my website or from Vero Concepts' website. I also am a firm believer in the promotion with Facebook, doing an invite for every show. Building the friends list. I also do a weekly email that a lot of people comment to me how religious I am about. The email comes out every week. I just believe that if you want to play out in clubs and be busy, you have to prove to club owners that you're promoting them 100%. And that doesn't mean you can take time off to not promote shows. You have to do what you got to do.
So that helps build your audience that comes out to each show then too.
So how do you have time to work at Pulse Magazine too?
Well, that's another thing that you know, it lends itself to breaking up your time for being organized and figuring out where your priorities have to fall each week. But I mean, in terms of gigs coming up, I don't just play the Worcester area. I mean, I'm living in Worcester now, but I've always played the Leominster-Fitchburg, Gardner area. I go up to the Seacoast in the summertime. I play the Tiki Bar at Neshoba Valley all through the summer. I do a lot of sponsorships with Narragansett. I'll be traveling to Stowe again for the summer. They've hired me for the Balloon Fest up at Stowe, Vermont. You know, playing Sunday River over the years in the ski areas and going down to the South Shore. It makes for a lot of travel and a lot of gigs, but as long as I keep enjoying playing gigs, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. You know, it's still fun. And recording at home makes it easy to, you know, not have to be juggling studio time. I can basically do it when I need to. So.
Middle of the night probably a lot of times.
Trying to.
That's good. Okay, so well, that kind of transitions us nicely into this, as Julianna mentioned, the this past, was it Tuesday, Wednesday, I guess?
Wednesday night.
Was the Worcester Music Awards. I know the Crush crew was out there filming with Julianna and all the guys, and Eric and John and everyone out there.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you very much for showing up this year and getting it on video.
Yeah, so we got some great things, and I know we'll be doing a show that is basically featuring the Worcester Music Awards. One thing that comes into mind, I know someone that you work with a lot. I know at Crush Studios we work a lot with the next gentleman I'm going to introduce. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Keith Boisvert from Vero Concepts.
Hi, how are you?
Hey Chris, how's it going? How are you? How's it going, buddy?
How you doing, man?
All right.
Another busy one, huh? Hey, Keith, man, it's so good to have you on the set here.
Glad to be here, man.
Good. So tell everybody a little bit about what you do. I mean, Vero Concepts designs and creates branding, social media, and marketing products, right? Explain a little bit, I guess, about exactly what you do, and tell us how you got in the business, because it's pretty interesting to see somebody who's so much of a tech geek, you know, being on the other side.
Well, I wasn't always a tech geek. I started off with my own business, needing to build a website. I was too cheap to pay for somebody, so I did it myself. And people asked me to build one for them, and it took off, and that was back in 2000. And then 2009, I think it was, a friend of mine from high school approached me, saw me on Facebook, saw that I did websites, starting a band.
Yeah.
Cover band. They had nothing at all. No songs, no logo, no website. So I built it for him. Really came out awesome. We did one show locally where we got all our video and audio, put it up on his website. Next thing you know, Showcase Live in Foxborough was calling.
Nice.
I talked to the venue owner a lot, and it was because of the content and the way it was presented on the web.
Yeah.
News took off.
So he just looked good.
Yeah. Well, it's all about presentation, you know. And next thing you know, I started getting a lineup of bands that was incredible. People started calling me, and now I'm in the music business. I mean, I'm a fan of music anyway.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice
So, kind of give us a service list of what you offer. Sure. I know I covered a few things.
Yeah, we do web design first and foremost, branding, which is probably one of the most important things when it comes to musicians. We do merchandise, product fulfillment. Merchandise is mainly apparel. We do a lot of stuff so it doesn't cost anybody anything. But a lot of branding, a lot of social media, just kind of working with musicians, depending upon what level they're at, and guiding them in the right direction, and making sure their online presence really looks the way it should, because first impressions count.
So if I have if I've got a fan base and I want to sell a T-shirt and I want to sell my Chris Reddy CD, things like that, you kind of do all that fulfillment.
I handle everything. You don't have to touch anything. I actually send you money, which is actually really nice.
Can you send me some?
I can send you money, but you got to give me something first.
This is great. Now, I know Chris is a client.
Chris is? Yes, he is.
And I looked around New England and I said, you know, who's really happening in New England for social media, for web development, for branding, for music acts? And pretty much it's Keith. I mean, you guys own it. I mean, tell us about your clients. And
well, I kind of, like I said, I fell into it and it just took off. I got clients that range from people like James Montgomery, David Hull, who plays for the Joe Perry. He fills in for Aerosmith on occasion. Amazing bassist. Chris, of course. I've got fitness people like Kathy Savage, who's global. Steve Grogan. We're doing a film with him. I'm going to handle all the distribution and merchandise for that project. A lot of local bands. A lot of local bands, and I get an author. And so it's all entertainment related to a degree, but music is my passion, so I tend to gravitate more towards the musician. Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people out there, they're just getting started in music, or they're at a point in their career where they played some clubs and things like that. They kind of want to know, okay, so before I come to you, what do I need to get together to make that happen? And then I guess the other part of that is, how much is it going to cost me? Because that's always the bottom line, and usually the limiting factor for many of us.
Well, music first and foremost. I mean, you have to have a couple songs ready. You need to know what you're doing, what direction you're trying to head. Usually I recommend somebody who's just starting out and has nothing at all to at least record one quality song. You'd be surprised how many bands send me demos, and it sounds like it was recorded in a tin can in a windstorm.
Right. Probably was. Maybe.
Probably was. So, let's get a quality recording first. Let's build some branding. Let's get a logo. Even if it's just your name, let's present it the same way all the time.
Now, you don't have to come to Crush Media Studios to do that, right?
Well, I prefer that they did, because it would be a lot easier, because at least I know it would be quality work. And
but you could presumably get a small, use GarageBand or one of the...
There's so much technology out there. If you're just starting out, you do have the ability. If you can't afford to go into a studio, and those range anywhere from $500 to $800 per song, depends. I mean, your buddy's mother's sister's cousin could probably do it for $10, but you're going to get $10 worth of stuff. So getting a quality song first and foremost, allowing me to take that song and get it into the market and start getting it heard, setting up accounts, Reverb Nation, iTunes, SoundCloud, making sure your Facebook presence is good, you have a nice Facebook page, and the content that you put up is quality. I'd rather have one quality song or video than 10 random things you just threw up there because you get a blurry picture from a mosh pit and it looks cool. Presentation is everything.
Yeah.
And
that's a great point because, you know, I mean, I know many of us grew up, trying to get enough money to scrape together to do an album or an EP. You know, right, Chris? I mean, that was the way we always did it.
Yeah.
And
it usually took your entire budget to go into a recording studio like Normandy or Longview Farms.
How much did you guys spend on yours,
pricey.
Julianna? You did.
We spent thousands.
Yeah.
So many thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Yes.
With technology moving so fast, you know, the desire to have to put a full CD together right away, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Start getting your music out there, start getting heard, do one song at a time if you have to. Just start getting out there because it'll start spreading. And then when you have the time and you've built up some cash, now you can go into the studio and do it right.
Well, the cool thing is, I mean, I think we were talking in the green room earlier, it's almost like it's self-generating. I mean, you've got to scrape together a little something, and you've got to get a recording done. And now you take that out, you start your social media thing, you get things rolling, and now
if you've got a
you
good
can use the money from that,
platform,
right?
Right, a good platform, social media, Chris will tell you, he's a king of it. You know, good social media platform, when you go out to shows, push it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell people to go to your Facebook page and like it. They're going to become your fan. They're going to sign up to your newsletter.
Right.
You can sell some merch to generate enough money to go and produce more albums.
Yeah.
More songs.
Well, that's great. So, well, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on. And any big projects that are jumping up in front of you here that?
Well, I get the movie there with Steve Grogan. That's a huge one. I'm trying to prep it now for hopefully a fall release to go around football time. James, me and Chris have been talking about doing some more stuff and getting things going. So it's always something. I probably have 15 to 20 things going at the same time, just like everybody else. You know, there's not enough time in a day. Yeah.
Well, so I want to introduce everyone to Crush Media Studios artist that is brand new. She started singing in the fall of 2010. So it doesn't seem like that long ago. At age 12, she won the grand prize at the 2010 Wachusett's Got Talent Festival with the song Don't Cry Out Loud. You guys remember that? I think it was Melissa Manchester, the original. Has almost 50,000 views on YouTube. Recently signed with Crush Media Studios. She's currently working with a vocal coach, Sherry Curry, originally here. And she's working on a lot of new songs and videos in the studio. Please welcome Brittany Tara.
Good.
Oh, you look beautiful today.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good.
The spring has sprung, huh? You would have been chilly last week out here in the sun, I tell you. It's nice today, though. So, how you been? You doing good?
Yeah.
Yep. So you signed with Crush Media Studios. You're now making music, and we have your first song. I think is just about to come out, right? Tell us about that song.
I'm doing "Blown Away" by Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, I've heard of Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll be more popular than her, huh?
I don't think so.
So Brittany started singing on YouTube in, what, 2010?
I think so, yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 15.
I don't know what I was doing at 15. I think I was playing baseball or something. You know? That's great. So tell us about how you got started in the business. And I know your parents are, and your stepdad are very interested in helping you do everything you've got to do for your career. Kind of tell us about how the role families played in getting you started.
Well, I've always been in all the school choruses and everything. But then we found out about the Wachusett competition, and so I signed up for that. And after that, my stepdad has always helped me with all the YouTube things. And
right. So you won the grand prize, right?
Yeah.
And you sang Melissa Manchester?
Yeah, I sang Don't Cry Out Loud.
Yeah, beautiful song. Can you sing that, Chris?
No.
Wow, so from that now, what happened? So you must have felt pretty good after that and got started with some other stuff? What have you been?
Yeah, well, when I won that, the prize was to record at the studio, which I didn't really do much with, but that kind of helped me start out. And then we put more videos on YouTube. And
so just kind of you just doing your thing at the house? And
yeah.
So there you go. that's a good way to get started, right? Get that home recorder out and do something. You know, they always told me growing up, if you want to get better, always record yourself. And because it's amazing how wretched it is listening back that first couple times, but then you realize you fix those things that were hard for you, right? And get done. Do you read music?
No.
Ah, see, that's the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So you're working with a coach?
Yeah.
And that's part of the plan, right?
Yeah, it's helping a lot.
All right, yeah, so gotta learn to read, Can't hire you if you can't read, usually. But, you know, you have that natural talent, and I think it's amazing. I mean, when I first heard you, I couldn't believe the range. When you hear this little girl sing, she goes from like here to mini Ripperton land up here somewhere. It's really amazing. Let's see. Why don't we take it? Would you go ahead and do a song for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Let's check it out. Here's Brittany Tara with Carrie Underwood's Blown Away.
Storm clouds gather in your eyes.
you've got a great future ahead of yourself. Huh? Yeah, we're very proud of you. I know everybody here is really rooting for you, dying to see you get out there, and hope your first release is really strong. You know, we are just about out of time here, so I just want to thank our guest for the day, Chris Reddy. Check out his CD. Check him out around town. He's always around town someplace. Last night I know he was out in Boulder, and Cigar Masters a couple days ago. Been just about every place around town in Neshoba. Keith at Vero Concepts. We'll put up all the websites at the end of the show here on our credits, and we'll roll that out so everybody will know how to get in touch with everyone here. Brittany Tara, great job on this.
Thank you.
You've got a great career ahead of yourself, and just keep working hard to learn how to read music. And Julianna Hendricks, Hidden Worlds. Look for Hidden Worlds coming out. I guess I heard rumors that maybe the next few days here. We're going to see the first episode of that, and that'll be exciting. And also look for Songwriter with Julianna as your host. And that about wraps it up. I want to thank the whole crew. I want to thank everybody out there, and thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time on Music Central. Woo!